Hi, it's Josie, and today I'd like to talk to you about your weight aids. If you like these videos, I would love it if you'd give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I pop a video out every Friday and I'd love to share them with you. So by the end of today's video, you will know what your weight aids are and how to use them. And if you stay right to the end, I'm going to show you how they really benefit you when it comes to a canter transition. All right, so what are weight aids? Weight aids are basically what happens in our seat, and our seat runs from really our knee all the way over to the other knee. But today I'm going to specifically talk about literally your upper thigh through. So what I'd like you to think about is think about your seat as if you're looking down on it, or your saddle is a clock face. So the pommel, the front of the saddle, is 12 o'clock. The cantle, the back of the saddle, is 6 o'clock. Your right hand side is 3 o'clock and your left hand side is 9 o'clock. Now you need to know where your seat bones are for this exercise. If you don't, go and find yourself a nice flat chair. Put your hand underneath yourself, or you can do it in the saddle if you feel safe enough. Put your hand right underneath and sit on it, and you'll feel a bony bit poking down. That's your seat bones. Your seat really is those two seat bones and the bit between up towards your pubic bone. So that becomes a triangle of your seat. So what do our seat aids do? Our seat aids form part of the symphony of our aids, and they're never usually given on their own. They're given with your other aids as well. So when I want a horse to come to a halt or to come down a transition from a trot to a walk, a canter to a trot, I will use my seat aids along with my rein aids. So seat aids and weight aids are an interchangeable term, and I'll probably use both of them in this video today. Sorry, but that they are interchangeable. They're the same thing. So this is one of the reasons you need to work on having a very good, stable seat that you have control of, a good position in the saddle, because if you're moving all over the place like this, how can your horse understand that if I do that, I want him to come that way to the right? Now you didn't hardly see me do anything because I used my weight aids. So our weight aids are part of a symphony. They help the horse understand what you want him to do. They're used for basically go, stop and turn, which are basics of what a horse should understand. And I use my weight aids even when I'm teaching a very green horse. So when my horse is really green, I'm still using my seat aids. I always use them. I can't stop using them. They become such a habit that it's an unconscious thing that I do. But obviously on a younger, greener horse, you will use a little bit more of your other aids, and you want to finesse the horse down to understand your weight aids. So if you're just going to go and do this on your horse and he hasn't learnt this, don't expect him to just do it. It's part of the foundation you put on your horse. Nobody told him that when you move your seat to 6 o'clock he should stop or slow down. But if you do that every time before you use your rein aids, or if you go to 12 o'clock before you use your leg aids, your horse will put that together, and then you will have a horse that moves off your seat aids. So when you're thinking of that clock face, if you think of how a clock face looks, and then there's the center bit where the hands sit. When I'm sitting in neutral, I am sitting on that spot there. All my weight should be evenly distributed around that clock face. If I want Spider to stop, I will shift my weight towards the 6 o'clock mark, like I just did then. I did not even close my fingers on the rein, but I would have if he hadn't have listened to my seats. So I always put my seat on first, and then I will use my rein aids, this is for stop, if I need to. If I don't need to, I won't. And there I did not need to. I didn't even need to close, because my rein aids start with a closing of my fist. I didn't even need to do that. He stopped from me putting my weight at 6 o'clock. And if you go back and have a look, you probably won't even see me do it, but horses are so sensitive that they feel it, which is again why you need a very good seat. If you don't have a good seat, you giving your horse a lot of white noise and he doesn't understand any of the aids that you're trying to give him. So to ask Spider to come from a trot to a walk, I sit back in the 6 o'clock spot. I'm trying to keep my hands forward so you could see that he did a down transition without the reins. So if I want my horse to go forward, I will use my seat and move a little bit more weight onto my thighs, onto my stirrups, and this is tiny, guys, you won't see it hopefully, and as I do that, I may or may not use my legs. If Spider will go just from my forward aid, let's see if he will. So I'm just warning him a little bit. Now I'm going to go forward a little bit with my, on the 12 o'clock spot. And then he went forward. If he hadn't gone forward from just my weight, I would have added a little bit of leg. So 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, what are they for? They are basically to help your horse to turn. So I'm sitting in the center of the saddle here over the hands, for want of a better way to put it. And now I'm going to weight my right seat bone a little bit more. My right hip drops and my knee drops, and you can see what Spider is doing here. I'm trying not to steer him so that you can see that he is following the weight. Now I'm going to weight my left one and see if I can get him to turn left. We're going to run into the fence, so I'll just help him. Good boy, to turn. So we'll ride straight, and I'm just shifting weight from the center where the hands are to 9 o'clock here. My hips dropped a little, my knee drops a little, tiny little bit more weight in that stirrup, and you can see I can possibly get him to come all the way around. I'll see if I can change the rein. We might run out of video camera. Here we go. Good boy. I want you to remember when you do this, you don't sit slump. You need to sit yourself up tall and carry yourself on your horse. If you take your legs off of the saddle like this, mine are coming away right from my hips, as you can see, my upper thigh, you should settle right into the center of your saddle. And that should be, as long as you're symmetrical or reasonably symmetrical, that will be sitting on your, on the hands, the clock face, the center of the clock face. So now I'm going to show you how you can use this in canter. I've done another video about canter aids, and I'll link that up here, and I'll link it at the end of this video. So you should understand the aids for canter, because there's multiple aids that help your horse. As I said, the seat weight aids are just part of the orchestra of your aids. I'm going to ask for left canter, and part of your aids are to weight your inside seat bone. And the way I think about that, using the clock face analogy, is I will put a little bit more weight on my inside seat bone, but I will move it towards 10 o'clock rather than the actual 9 o'clock sideways. So it's sort of in that direction there, which is actually where I want the horse to go if I'm on a curved line and I want him to jump into canter. You do it from sit trot, because you actually can't have that much seat aid when you're rise trotting, because you're in and out of the saddle. You can have weight aids because you can weight your stirrups. So I will move my seat from its central position towards 6 o'clock. That's part of the half halt, that's part of the listen, move your weight backwards. It'll be for one stride, and then I will weight my inside seat bone around about the 10 o'clock mark, and we'll see how we go on the left rein. So sit, 6 o'clock, canter, good boy. He just needs to be a little more forward in the transition, but that's something I'll work on. Half halt and canter, good. Good boy. Try that again. Good. Good boy. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you go out and play with it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.